Okay, I've been talking about semis for a while, about a month, and I got a couple more that I want you to take a look at that I think are quite interesting. Um, I'm a bit more bullish than most people I've talked to on the semis. A lot of people, their hypothesis is that there's a slowdown in the next quarter or two. Inventories have built up, so we've got to work off that inventory. And there's just been orders have slowed down. And while I actually agree with that, I'm willing to get ahead of it, and I think the next cycle starts about 6 months from now, and then really a year from now. And I want to be in the water to catch a wave now, and I have other reasons. I think the stocks have priced it in. I think investors have priced in the slowdown. I mean, some of these stocks have really taken a beating and have really gotten hit hard. Some of the earnings reports that came in were better than expected, so maybe not as soft as expected. So that's still better than expected. That's good. I think Lam Research had a good quarter. Xilinx had a good quarter. Texas Instruments, even Intel wasn't too bad. All these are really interesting names, and I think they'll really heat up probably in the second half of this year. But I'm willing to start, like I said, now. Okay, so. Having said that, I got a couple of little gems here for us, and I had them both up here because I think looking at them side by side is a good idea because they're kind of similar. Let's start. I guess we'll start with. It doesn't matter which one. We'll start with KLA. KLA Technology used to be KLA Kenner. They just changed their name to Technology. Okay, so this is super high tech stuff. Okay, they do inspection with their machines on the wafers and the chips, and they look for defects. And we're talking about defects that are so minute. I think down to 6 nanometers, which is 6 atoms. Okay, so go research how big an atom is. It's very, very tiny. 6 atoms is incredible that they can do this. This technology is unbelievable. So as technology gets more and more advanced and chips get smaller and smaller, and then the cost of a defect is really high, like if you sell it and install it and there's a defect on it, the customer's not going to be too pleased. So you have to have this technology to inspect it and find out if there's a defect, and KLA and Applied Materials have those technologies, and they're both really good. The financials look good on both of them. They're really interesting. So, and I think they're about as tech as you can possibly get. When we're talking about manipulating and detecting down to 6 atoms, and they said a couple other little interesting things that KLA said in their presentation. If they put one of their machines in low Earth orbit, which I don't know how high low Earth orbit is, but it's higher than an airplane. And they could read the date on a dime that's on the ground. That's how sensitive their equipment is. Another thing they said, they could, on a fence, and they just said a fence, I don't know how big the fence is, they could detect the weight of a butterfly on it. So this is cool stuff. I really like this. Science geeks will love this stuff. And Applied Materials, a competitor too. So, all right, without further ado, let's look at some profiles, and let's see which one I have lined up first. Okay, KLA. All right. Oh, yeah, I guess we have to actually take a look at it. Here we go. All right. So, KLA, first of all, 16 billion market cap. So, it's not a giant like an Intel. I think is well over 100 billion now. Some of these other ones like Microsoft and all those things, they're huge. Even Texas Instruments. And I say Texas Instruments because it's a chip maker. I think it's 100 billion, or pretty close. I don't know if it's 100, but it's up there. So it's only 16 billion. I mean, that's still a good-sized company. At any rate, I just love this profile. First of all, pretty good return on capital history, and then really took off in 2012, and returns just kept climbing, and so did the stock. We do have the December quarter in, so this includes the December quarter. The return on capital improved just a little bit more, and we get a default valuation of 134 versus it's only trading at 107. I think it's a very docile forecast. I feel like I could be more aggressive, especially in terms of the growth and the fade. So I'm just going to do a little exercise. Let's say a 2% higher growth than our default. So 15% growth. Well, that adds $20 to the share. And then just a 1% change in the fade rate. Instead of 9, we'll use 8. And that gives us another $20. Now, I don't know if those things are going to happen, but you can see how sensitive these are. So, as you probably can tell, I'm quite bullish on KLA. I just call it CLAC because the ticker is KLAC. Very interesting. Okay, next one, Applied Materials. So most people would consider Applied Materials, you know, the bigger of the, well, it is the bigger, like the more I don't know, prevalent, you know, the bigger player, the one with more weight, one that, you know, a market leader. Yeah, that's the better word, market leader. Okay, and you can see kind of a very similar pattern actually. The return on capital really took off in the 2010, 2012, and improved up to 25%. What is very different though is these shares have come way off. Okay, and I think that's because, like I said, it's an industry leader or a bellwether for the industry. And I said already, there's a lot of pressure on this industry for the next couple of quarters. Inventories have been overbuilt, right? So we need to work off this inventory. They've said, I've already read the press releases that they're expecting lower sales and lower earnings per share. Their press release is I'm filming this right now on the 13th. I'll probably post it tomorrow morning. So on the 14th, before they open, they're gonna have their earnings, and it's going to be year over year. It's going to be down. Whether or not it beats expectations, I have no idea. But just look at that stock price. Just take a look at the zoom up, and then the more than a trickle down. I mean, this was a $65 stock at one point. Looked like it dipped into the 30s just recently, and it's climbed back out to 40, but nowhere near what it used to be. And I'm getting an $80 default. Now I do have to change forecast here because I know sales are going to slow, so I'm going to take down my return. Even if I take it down to say 22%, which I think is very reasonable based on what I've seen of other companies, very, very reasonable valuation. So let's take down the growth a little bit. I'll go to 12, and I'm going to try and reverse engineer this one as well. And I'll say it slows down even further in 5 years. I hope I'm not too long-winded in this one, but this is what I do, and I get excited. Okay, so I've really beaten up the forecast. Like, it's just, straight up to 25 and right back down to 15, and that's all the market's willing to pay for. I personally think it's probably a good time to get into AMAT. I'm really curious to see the, I'm all over the map here. I'm really curious to see the earnings release tomorrow. I think we could have, it's going to be a barn burner either way. I literally don't know if it's going to be a really good one. My gut instinct is it's actually going to be, better than expected. Again, it's coming down. The returns are coming down. The sales, the earnings are going to come down. We know that. How much is going to be the estimates by, I don't know, or if it will. That's just going to be, it's going to be a fascinating one, I just think. And it's going to be a good bellwether for the industry too. Okay, have a look at that one in the morning or on February the 14th. That'll be Valentine's Day. All right, that's signing off here.